Superintendent refuses to cancel school, ends her career over it. Both my children attended elementary school in the northern Midwest. As you can imagine, it snowed. A lot. Even with all the snow removal infrastructure, when a particularly heavy storm came along, the town just couldn't keep up with it, and the buses couldn't run. For decades, the school district dealt with this by having 5 snow days built into the calendar. If they had more than 5 snow days, the kids would go an extra day at the end of the year. For years, this system worked, and no one ever complained, except the occasional child that had to attend a couple extra days in June. Well, all good things must eventually come to an end. The old, mild-mannered super retired. A new super took his place. She was young, aggressive, and almost immediately reviled by everyone in the district. Let's call her Sue, because that's what we ultimately did to her. Sue came right out of corporate America. I don't know how she got it in her head that she wanted to run a school district, but she did. She was so inexperienced that the school board had to give her a waiver to work in our district before she could even show up for work. When the year started, Sue went on a power trip that made everyone's head spin. She slashed hours for support staff, barred children from repeating a grade without her personal approval, cracked down on teachers taking sick time, until the union pointed out that she was violating the CBA by doing that. Backed off a little but vowed to go after any staff taking sick time. Stopped the weekly trip to the fitness center by the special needs class. She was like a cartoon villain. But what's important to this story? She ended the decades-old snow day system, took the days right out of the calendar and said we wouldn't be needing them as she was cracking down on snow days. Here's how snow days work. The transportation department keeps an eye on the roads. If they are unsafe, or even if they are safe, but the forecast is looking crazy for later, they tell the super they can't safely run the buses. The super then cancels school. It's really supposed to be the transportation department's call. Well, Sue decided that she is the sole arbiter of deciding cancellations, so even if transportation says it's not safe to run the buses, she can say, tough shit, which she did, often. As you can imagine, this led to a lot of awkward and even dangerous situations. Buses not being able to access rural roads. Buses running an hour late. Buses running their entire route completely empty because no sane parent would send their kids to school in a whiteout blizzard. For 2 years, we parents tolerated this dumbfuckery. But needless to say, we were frustrated. We tried going through the proper channels, contacting the transportation department, writing to the school board. We even wrote a collective letter to Sue personally, who, if the rumor is true, spit on our letter and tossed it in the bin. Though we did get a nice message on the school department website about how they are always thinking about the safety of the students, so that's nice, I guess. Things finally boiled over the winter of that second year. A bus went off the road. Though my kids were not on it, it shook me up. There were numerous complaints on the school's Facebook from scared and disgruntled parents. 2 years of being the only district open in the county during storms was getting on everyone's nerves. My sister-in-law is a criminal defense attorney. I am a disability advocate with a state agency, so while I'm not an expert on the law like my SIL, I tend to know my way around. We met for dinner and decided that, if and when the inevitable tragedy happened, we would sue. We met a couple more times to work on our game plan. You can't sue a school district for making dumb snow day decisions, but if a kid gets hurt. The day finally came in the late autumn of the 3rd year of Sue. We had a big storm roll through in the early morning hours. Not cold enough to snow or freeze, thankfully, but extremely windy. Most of the county lost power, including the schools. Thousands of outages. Power lines down, trees down, roads closed. It was a mess. All the districts in the county closed. All, of course, except ours. Sue was never one to turn down a chance at a power trip. She ordered the schools to stay open. It was a disaster. Buses couldn't access every road to pick up students. Buses were late. Individual schools were putting out bulletins that attendance was parents' choice. Students unable to make it to school would receive a principal's excused absence. Stay home if it's the safer choice. Bear in mind that all the schools were running on generators, so the high schoolers, who start an hour earlier, were sitting in the gymnasium bored. There was literally no point in having school this day. Then, the inevitable happened. A tree fell and hit a bus, and this time, my daughter was on it. Thankfully, the driver did a good job of evacuating the children, and there were only minor injuries. but injuries nonetheless, all because of Sue's absurd no cancellation policy. Some ambulances showed up. 4 kids went to the hospital as a precaution. It made the news. It was time. The district sent forms to all of the parents of injured children. They would cover all medical costs and provide counseling for the kids in the guidance office and a small cash settlement in exchange for the parents signing a release of liability. You can't sue us. But my SIL and I had gotten to the parents first and advised them not to sign anything, as we were taking the district to big boy court. Some of the parents did take the settlement offered, which is understandable since not everyone likes drama, but some didn't. Some told the district right where to shove that settlement. I was one of them. CL and I got together with a couple of the injured parents that were sick of the district's nonsense. We got our paperwork in a row and filed a suit. We filed the suit so fast that our hands burst into flames. The essence of the suit was that the district had failed their duty of in loco parentis by making unsafe transportation decisions, directly causing the crash and injuries. My SIL also pulled some strings at the local newspaper and got our lawsuit a small spot on the front page. Parents came out of the woodwork to express their support. They were frustrated after years of Sue's authoritarianism. It turned into a small media circus, and I'm sure some Redditor will Google this and find something. Well, the district's lawyers got to work and quickly realized that this was going to be a mess. A discovery process pulling up dirt, the parents of the injured children testifying, the general hatred of the district. Not to mention it appeared that they would indeed lose. They moved to quickly and quietly settle this case. They basically sat down with us and said, "Name your price." And while I cannot discuss the details of the settlement, let's just say that all injured parties were made whole. Also, the district changed their cancellation policy immediately. Now, if there was even a hint of snow or icky weather, they cancelled. A welcome change of pace. As for Sue, she became very quiet. She used to spend all day sending aggressive emails about her policies. Now, hardly a peep. All she did the rest of the year was fill the seat. As summer approached at the end of the year, Sue announced her resignation. She was leaving to pursue other interests. We think she was asked to resign. She was replaced by a superintendent who was much nicer. He rolled back all of Sue's power-trippy policies. TLDR new superintendent is mean and doesn't cancel for snow days. Bus crashes, we sue, we win. Also, fix your attention span. If you're too lazy to read the whole post, I pray you are also too lazy to comment. Edit. Y'all getting upset about the TLDR need to take a deep breath. It's not as serious or bitchy as you think. I saw a similar TLDR on another post, and I liked it. Please take a moment to reflect on the fact that you just got triggered by a TLDR. Look back on your life. How did your coping skills get this bad? Edit #2. The salty comments from Redditors pissed by my TLDR have been hilarious. I did not realize so many visitors of this sub were so thin-skinned. What a harrowing way to navigate life, being so frail that a comment about your nebulous attention span goads you into leaving a comment. I will feast on your salt for days. Edit #3. Christ in a K-cup. It's been 4 days since I posted this, and I'm still getting people in my inbox upset at my TLDR. Who even gets mad at a post not even directed towards them? Is it the same people that post school stories in this sub because they haven't left high school yet and don't understand what pro-revenge is? Shakes Magic 8-Ball. It says yes. I really don't have time for these petulant DMs. I run a successful business from home. I have a 6-figure income. I'm attractive and get matches on Tinder all the time. I have 2 sports cars. I have an amazing wife, a great dog, 3 smoking hot girlfriends, a small harem of Tinderellas, 3 giant porn star cocks. I have a private jet that I use to fly out to my private mansion in the Maldives. I start my day by snorting a line of high-quality coke off a porn star's ass, and I end my day by also snorting a line of high-quality coke off a porn star's ass. You wish you were me. You're not, but you wish you were.